Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by Winamp for Android, the ultimate media player for your desktop and Android device, featuring wireless sync. Download it free at winamp.com/Android. Video bandwidth for TWiT is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 281 for Christmas week 2010. Our best of. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up for the Platinum Plan and get 2 free books. Go to audible.com/twit2. And don't forget to follow Audible on Twitter. User ID audible_com. And by Carbonite Pro. With prices starting at $10 a month, all your Office PCs can be backed up safely and automatically. For a free trial and to learn more, visit carbonitepro.com. And by Ford and the new Ford Fiesta. With an EPA estimated 40 highway miles per gallon, no other compact car is more fuel efficient. And fuel economy is just for starters. The 2011 Ford Fiesta. Ford invites you to drive one at a dealer near you. Hello and happy holidays from all of us here at TWiT. I'm Leo Laporte, and, well, frankly, we didn't really want to work the week after Christmas, so we're just going to do a best-of episode this week. And since we're a podcast, it really doesn't make a lot of sense just to rerun stuff, so we asked you, as you may remember, for your favorite moments from the year gone by. There's some good ones in here. Felicia Day accidentally revealing her WoW account, that moment with chat roulette. And let's not forget when Amber had her technical difficulties. So, without further ado, let's get to the best of TWiT and a happy holiday from all of us at TWiT. Also with us from boingboing.net, the great Jenny Jardin. It's so good to see you, Jenny.
Hi, Leo.
Thanks for joining us. She's not drinking. Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
Yeah, I got my nails done, especially for the show. Like see?
She's got some bizarre fruit. What is that?
I think it's called the Hand of Buddha, Mano de Buddha, but maybe some of the TWiT audience can tell me exactly what it is. I like to call it Cthulhu fruit.
Yes.
She's got the nose.
Have you tasted it? Does it? It looks citrusy. Is it citrusy?
It's if I can put on a wine snob adjective flow for a moment here, it's like a really fine, fresh lemon with hints of jasmine and undertones of fruitcake.
And undertones of death.
I want it.
Of Cthulhu.
I want it. Well, Cthulhu, you know, entices you into your death.
That's right.
Yeah. And big deal. No, but my very serious point is, and I'm with you, Brian, on this, is that I think that's going to be progress when people just go, this is how we are.
And this is bullcrap. This is a passive attitude toward privacy, which is going to ruin this country. That's why people are walking through that X-ray device. They don't give a crap that they're getting essentially a chest X-ray.
Well,
and if they opt out, they get patted down and their nuts get grabbed, and nobody complains about it.
I had my nuts grabbed, and I was not excited about it.
Guys.
Look, no.
Okay, all right. Well, let me say 2 things. First of all, I'm with you on the X-ray thing. If I have to choose between the peep show and getting felt up, I always choose being felt up. It's awkward, and they're ashamed to do it, and that's the way an invasion of privacy should be.
You want to make them feel bad.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You are grabbing my junk, and it's awkward for both of us, and that's how it should be. But let me say what I'm trying to say about the warts and all and understanding who people are. This is a manifestation of the high-definition culture that we're joining into. And it's not just our privacy on Facebook. It's the fact that we watch high-def TV, and you can see the zits on people. You can see the makeup that Jay Leno's wearing on The Tonight Show.
Because
we see things the way they actually are.
In the first 100 years of media, it polished people. It lied about people. And I think that we all agree that the magazines and television and movies created a false standard that was unattainable and has caused great pain for normal people for the last 100 years. Media has misused its ability. This is an opportunity for media to say, And this is kind of what we do here. Boy, this is warts and all media. If you ever
This is like a false argument. You're equating somebody to having a lot of makeup on a TV show with a 250-line scan with an invasion of personal privacy.
I'm not, because I am fundamentally opposed to the X-ray machines. And in fact, I don't know, they had recently, or is it coming up? Wednesday, November 24th, 2010 is National Opt-Out Day. Now, most people don't know, on the X-ray machines, you can always opt out. All you have to say is, I opt out, and then they give you a pat-down search.
And if we all did it,
I do that
air
all the
traffic
time,
would stop.
Well, listen.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
When I just flew here this weekend, I wore the same sweatpants I wore last week to go to L.A. This weekend when I came in, he's like, oh, they just changed the rules this week. Do you want a private screening, or do you want us to pat you down out here? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, do you want us to take you in the back room, or do you want us to do it out here? What does it entail? I have to go in your waistband, put my hand down your pants. I'm like, do it out here. And I stood in front of everybody, and he did it.
Wait a minute. What's the alternative? Can I go through a machine?
No, the alternative is for him to go in the back room and pat.
He's going to put his hands down your pants no matter what?
He did, yes. And I said, I'd rather have him do it out here in public, because just what Brian said. He's already ashamed to do it, and I feel like he's not going to go as deep.
When did this happen?
This weekend.
They're required to put their hands down your pants?
They just changed the rule.
Well,
he put his hands on it. His hand was...
Wait a minute. You're blowing my mind here.
They don't necessarily pull it.
This is the
new TSA is that you have to get...
If you're wearing sweatpants or baggy clothing...
Oh, baggy clothing.
I was wearing sweatpants. They're not baggy. They're sweatpants. He put his hand... This is my waistband.
Because I got to tell you, if I have to get somebody hand down my pants, I'm not flying.
Ran his hand around the ring of my waistband and then patted the front and then patted my butt and then in my crotch.
And it's all security theater. It does absolutely nothing.
That's the part that kills me, is that for all of the federalization, for all of this giant bureaucracy, for the $5 that you have to pay for every single flight, going and coming back everywhere you go, we get not 1 percentage point bump. And it
in
kills
security.
Me.
And the guy was embarrassed to do it. He says sorry like 5 times. He's like, I'm sorry.
Imagine, excuse me, but would you like that job?
No.
Horrible job.
Well, and I ran it. Oh, you know what's funny is anyone who follows my Twitter feed.
Jenny, I apologize. I just want to apologize.
I didn't realize that this broadcast was going to be about warts, man boobs.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I just don't know what to say. Later, we'll talk about poking the queen. But first,
there's one item that I wanted to make sure we did talk about, and I don't know how much time we have left, but
God, I don't even know what time
cow.
is it. Okay, we got time.
We got time. Good.
7.
Holy cow! Did I not?
The bottle is not empty. We got time, dude.
I absolutely love Jenny's post about damn you autocorrect. That is the greatest website on the face of the planet.
It is so funny. I meant to read this on the radio show because everybody identifies with this. Tell us about this, Jenny.
Yeah, so there's a blog where somebody's been capturing screen grabs of really embarrassing or funny autocorrects that happen on different smartphones where people are texting back and forth to each other. The one that I think grabbed for Boing Boing was somebody said, I reached a really, really high level of anal birds.
Oh, my God.
Oh, doctor. Oh, doctor.
She just spat on the galaxy.
We got a spit take on the galaxy.
She just spat on the galaxy.
And I missed it. Damn. That's why we need an actual corrector.
Like, the first time I saw the site, I think I went
spit
through like
take?
10-foot page. These screen grabs are great.
It's really, really, really great. But aren't they all the iPhone? Let's face it. This is the
I think
iPhone.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's old Newton technology, apparently.
Yeah. Here's somebody, I guess I lied earlier. I feel pretty good right now. Is that because you took something? Not yet. I ate something and did some humping jacks. Bible study on the 19th. I could probably do the 11th since I have this Friday off. I'll need all my spare ribs for school next week. I'm traveling.
So, we made a game out of this on NSFW last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 717. No, that's wrong. Christ. iPhone 4 has been jailbroken already. Didn't take long.
Yay.
You can now go to jailbreakme.com, and it has a kind of like an all-in-one push-button jailbreak, and now it's legal.
Yeah, I'm sure they waited until it was legal.
Yeah, right. They were very concerned.
Yeah, it's legal, but it doesn't do you any good if Apple still cuts you off.
Well, no, they can't cut you off. Could they cut you off?
Sure.
They could just so the FCC rulings doesn't mean that they couldn't just say, well, Okay, but we
Yeah,
don't
you can
want-
do whatever you want. It's totally legal, but, we're not going to give you any service. You just broken your warranty. That's the old excuse. Oh, you can do that, but then you ruin your warranty. It's
That's
like
what
the one
Apple
screw
said.
on the back. It's legal to unscrew your cell phone, but if it's got a little sticker saying if you remove this screw, you lose your warranty. Boom.
That's what Apple said.
That's what's weird about the fact that...
Go ahead, Baratunde.
Here's my key question about this, because I got the original iPhone and jailbroke it to work on T-Mobile, so I didn't break my plan, and I loved it. I had Cydia apps running. It tasted like freedom, and I like freedom.
Tastes like
but
freedom.
I also,
Let me just write that down.
ironically, felt like a fugitive because I was running, week to week, month to month in fear of the latest software update. So I'm kind of like sniffing around. I don't want to have my phone unjailbroken by Apple's latest push. Does this new ruling that jailbreaking is legal now prevent Apple from undoing your jailbreak in its latest software updates? Or are they still going to have that practice of sabotaging your phone at their own whim?
Does jailbreaking it make it work either as a phone or an internet device? Because mine is literally an inoperable brick, and I don't know if anybody else is in LA, but I think I'm pretty close to actually swapping it out because it just does not work. I've yet to have a phone call that didn't drop.
But you don't want phone calls, Felicia. This is a feature.
That's true.
That's a feature. That's a feature.
This is like the iPhone 4 is like a girlfriend who drives you nuts. She won't pay attention to you. She never listens to you. She breaks everything. But oh my God, she's so hot. I can't give her up.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why Coed Magazine says NSFW is a must-listen-to podcast.
That's exactly right.
Can you go over that laundry list again? I was highly amused.
I didn't even understand it.
Dude, the iPhone is so messed up. The reception's up and down. But
have you had a boyfriend like that? Felicia Day, have you had a boyfriend like that?
Oh, no, I'm very choosy.
Your iPhone 4 is your boyfriend like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm about to give him the boot. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money I pay a month. I feel like I should be able to pay a percentage of my bill for the percentage that the phone actually works. Too bad that's not legal.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, now jailbreaking is not going to fix that. This is cool though. You go to the site, and basically it's a web page, and it says jailbreak me. It works on all the iPhone devices, and you slide. It's on the phone. You slide to jailbreak.
Nice.
That's
used to be pretty.
Who has an iPhone 4 here that they want to jailbreak it? Anybody in the studio? I'm looking
I'm not
around.
living like a fugitive.
Boy, I'm getting a lot of not mine.
I can't return to that life.
Nobody has the guts to do it.
No, if I had my iPhone 4 here, I would absolutely do it because
I'll do it.
All right.
There's this awkward moment. It's like, are you serious? Are you really will? I don't. Probably should have backed it up before.
We need some jailbreaking
By
music.
the way, in answer to my original question, chat room is weighing in saying Apple updates do undo your jailbreakage. So
yes, of course they do. Yeah.
I was listening. Yeah,
did you ask that question? I'm sorry, I didn't even hear you say that. Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So I could jailbreak it now, and then in fact, the new update came out last night, and it was downloading as
401?
I was yeah.
Is one even past 401?
I don't know. I know that I finally synced my.
You just didn't get around
phone.
to it. Yeah, 401 came out a while ago.
Oh, right.
So go to jailbreakme.com on Safari.
All right. What could go wrong here?
Oh, it works on iPad? Wait a minute. I won't. You don't have to do it. I'll do it to my iPad.
All right. Maybe I'll do it.
Or do you want to do
anyway.
both? You want to do it? All right, I'm going to
What is this? Break an iPad for?
I don't know.
This doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean it doesn't make any sense?
Jailbreak me. Jailbreak.me.
Jailbreakme.com.
Does it work on my chocolate phone?
Do you have a chocolate phone? You are so black.
Chocolate LG.
I think you do need
Leo.
Now I have to get it. Just to make you feel
we were okay. I have to explain that. I have to explain that.
I actually prefer if you just leave it hanging awkwardly out there.
What is the name of your new book?
How to Eat Chocolate.
No. What is the name of your new book? I am going to get hate mail. What is it?
How to Be Black.
And is one of the steps have a chocolate phone?
And no.
But it could.
Can have an old brown Zune.
Oh my God.
So far of a line.
What?
Oh, I'm going to get so much email now. Fortunately, I don't have
We live
email.
on the edge here, but that's cool. That's cool.
So, any announcements you made? We got the Guild. Is this season
4?
4? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know. We actually had our 3rd anniversary on July 27th.
That's
last
kind of
Tuesday.
Amazing.
It was the 3rd anniversary of uploading the first
now,
episode.
you don't put ads in the Guild.
No, we do have a pre-roll now that we work with Sprint and Microsoft, and they do a pre-roll on the episodes. And when we're on Xbox Live, we have a Sprint logo on there. But,
so you can make money. You do make some of the money. The production costs are covered by advertising.
All our production costs are covered by Microsoft and Sprint. So yeah, they've been for the third year. We're so lucky. I mean, really, knock on wood, we are in the privileged top. Yeah, and the great thing is that they really let us make our show. Like, they really don't, impose their. It's not like branded entertainment, is what I'm saying, because a lot of web video is going the way of basically an extended narrative commercial, and I feel like that doesn't really push the medium forward in a way that allows the most creative. There's some really good branded entertainment shows out there, but they're definitely two different sides of the entertainment coin, and we're just really lucky to be able to have a sponsor who's been, this is our third year. It's just fantastic.
Well, and you're in this for the creativity. You're not in this to make a buck.
Well, I mean, I need to pay my bills, but yeah, I definitely would make a lot more money if I just concentrated on my acting career in Hollywood. But just the fact that we were able to fill a Comic-Con room as big as huge $1 million an episode TV shows is kind of gratifying to me.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
Those headphones aren't going to buy themselves. That's great.
For those not watching, Felicia is wearing the world's largest pair of World of Warcraft
They
headphones.
light up. I wish I could get them to light up.
Are those the ones that make crazy voices? Like if you want to play a troll or an ogre or whatever?
No, that would be cool though. I want those.
Yeah, there's some with the hardware switch. You just flip it, and all of a sudden you sound like you're 8 feet tall.
Stand back. I have a steed.
There's a question, Felicia, from the chat room about Gina Trapani's involvement in the Guild. Do you have any notes or updates on that?
Yeah, it's a really good story. So the year that Dr. Horrible came out, I think that was 3 years ago, I had an escort around the back. There were volunteers who volunteer, and they escort us to, the panel room, to the signing, through the crowds. And a woman accompanied me, and in the middle of it running, I was like, I got to pee. So this woman takes me to the bathroom, and then we go back. And then the next day when I get home, I get an email saying, hey, we're not allowed to do this during the hours, but I just want to say I'm a huge fan of yours, Gina Trapani.
Oh, my God.
And I saw her sign that, and I was like, oh, my God, I'm a huge life hack geek. So we just completely geeked out over it. And then for season 3, she came and volunteered. She helped us at their Comic-Con booth. I saw her fleetingly this year, but it was just like, I wish you'd told me then because I'm a huge fan of you.
Oh, that's really neat. That's really
That's
neat.
great when that happens. And that question comes to us courtesy of Hartwell in the chat room. So thank you, Hartwell. Thank you, Felicia.
So when I volunteered to take you to the bathroom, you didn't notice that was me, Felicia?
That was a security problem.
Okay. I'll take you.
The chat room points out that it's the Logitech G35 headset that you can do the nutty voices with if you want to be able to mask yourself on the fly.
What is your World of Warcraft character? I'm sure everybody knows this, Felicia. I should know this.
I have an 80 priest. She's her name is. Oh no.
Your priest name?
No, I should have said that. Why did I say that?
Why? Is that secret?
Be swamped with
Can
harassment.
you bleep that out of the?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of live people.
Hey, look, if there's one thing the internet's really good at, it's keeping secrets. So don't worry.
No worries.
Anywho,
But I think that's a testament to the intimacy of the show. That she felt so comfortable.
Yeah.
It was like,
All
we
right,
were like
internet,
friends
this is
hanging around, drinking rum and cokes, about to go have a great dance party.
So forget that she said that her character's name. Just erase that from your mind. And if you look for in what is the realm that you hang out in?
No.
If you look in for please don't harass Felicia, okay?
Yeah. I like everybody, but I just like to play in silence. So no. Anyway, I have.
Do you go on quests? Do you go with groups and do stuff, or you just kind of hang out you fish a lot?
I mean, I like doing the quests. Actually, I just rolled a Horde character just so I could get all the quests in before they release Cataclysm because all the lore is changing. So.
Oh yeah, really, that's actually a big story. Cataclysm is going to completely change. Wow.
It's completely redoing everything, and I'm so excited because you could be able to fly in the old cities. And I'm like a vanilla wower. Like I don't play as much as I would like to nowadays because I'm so busy.
Get Barrett
but when
book.
I was hardcore rating, it was vanilla wower.
How to be a black wower.
Just for the record, I don't play these immersive games. I like dumb things where I can drive machines and crash them into other machines, maybe shoot at something. But this is fascinating, all this language. So keep going. It's great.
Yeah.
Let me just put it this way. If she's an 80-level Vegemite, that means, what, at least several hundred hours, right? At least.
Oh, if you look at my account, I have several hundred hours logged. That's
Easy.
for sure. I mean, I really haven't been able to play very much at all lately. But like I said, I just rolled a horde character, and I'm going to concentrate on that until.
Yeah, for those of you who can't hear quite well, she said horde character. All right. You don't
Horde. So you can be humans, or you could be for the horde. I'm horde, by the way. I
But
am
you can be a
horde.
pretty blood elf, which is what I rolled. Sorry.
Blood elf's cool. As long as you're
I
not
know,
a
they
night
get a
elf
lot of flack,
mohawk.
but-
Have you run into the mohawks?
Me?
Anybody? They made Mr. T. They allowed Mr. T's mohawk. I mean, I think this is kind of cruddy that they've screwed up.
Oh, they actually created a class for Mr. T?
It's not a class. It's like a mohawk spell. Right,
Yeah.
Felicia?
Oh, no, yeah, they did. It was like a marketing campaign. Mr. T did a TV, like a commercial, and then they had a spell where you could fling at people, and you get a Mr. T mohawk head.
They're getting a little more tongue-in-cheek in all the World of Warcraft stuff. Like, I know in Cataclysm, they're doing a bunch of quests for goblins where you're essentially going on, like, frat boy beer runs and that kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah, they change all the names, but it's very clever.
That's pretty funny.
I think they've always been
I just
clever,
have
though.
no
There's
idea
always
what's
been a lot of
happening right
humor.
Yeah.
In World of Warcraft, and I think that's kind of its appeal. Like, it doesn't just, it kind of appeals to everybody, and not in like the hardcore RP, which I love that kind of stuff, like Dragon Age and stuff
I've
like
never
I
seen
love Dragon
Baratunde
Age.
so disengaged.
Well,
He's just like,
I'm super engaged. I just don't know what you're saying.
Let me put it this
feel
way.
like
we
I'm
got
speaking
difference.
plainly.
we got
I'm
the
paying
cover
attention.
for your book. You ready? There you go. How to be a night elf mohawk. That's Mr.
Baratunde and Felicia Day.
There you go, right there.
That is
Yeah, there you
beautiful.
go.
That would be a great collaboration. Let's make it so.
I hope Felicia's changed your account by now. Coming up, some fun with Amber. But before we do that, I do want to mention our sponsors. You know, all year long, in fact, for the last few years, Audible has been a big part of the TWiT family. We really love Audible. You know, I love Audible books. I listen all the time. There's so many great books to choose from. We've got a special holiday deal for you. If you go right now to audible.com/twit2, you can get 2 books free. There's so many great choices. I'm not even going to make a pick this year. I'm just going to let you browse through the Audible site. So many great titles in fiction, nonfiction, history. There's some holiday titles as well. Glenn Beck's, what's it called? The Red Sweater? The Red Communist Sweater? Something like that. Audible.com/twit2. There's some Gene Shepard pieces, too, from Christmas. Remember, of course, he's the guy who did the Christmas Story. I love Audible. It plays in my car when I get in the car. It plays on my iPod, my iPhone, your Zune. Notice I didn't say my Zune. Actually, I have a Zune. I found my Zune HD. And Audible plays beautifully on it. Even on a Kindle, GPS devices, and so forth. Audible.com/twit2. 2 books, absolutely free, just for you. You can cancel at any time, and those books are yours to keep. Now, let's get ready. I should set this up a little bit. This is actually not something that appeared on TWiT. It appeared before TWiT. We were trying to get Amber on the line, and she'd completely rejiggered her studio setup, including her microphone. And unfortunately, she had no idea that instead of sending us audio, you'll see what she was sending us. Note, though, while you're watching this, Amber doesn't know what's going on. She's baffled. She thinks she's sending us regular audio, and we're just laughing at her. Watch carefully for her reaction.
I like the Riviera. I'm at the Riviera. The helicopter has landed. Wow.
Yeah, this is like TWiT 57. There's something about Amber and Andrew Barron together.
You killed Leo. best twit ever.
Let's just put that out. Another twit is in the can. Have I told you about Ford lately? Jesus. Carbonite Pro. Great stuff. Get it. CarbonitePro.com. 30 days free. Go to meeting. Fantastic. Get it. 30 days free. Go to meeting.com/twit. Drive a Ford. Great stuff. Twit Ford thing, whatever it's called. TwitFordFocus.com. Go there. Okay. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Best twit ever.
You ought to put that out as like a separate.
I think we will.
And just do that as like a, if we ever
This
get.
is Twit. This Week in Tech, episode 276, recorded November 28th, 2010. Leo loses it. Amber.
Does she know that's what it's doing?
She looks so peaceful. She looks so peaceful sitting there. She's not going to do anything. She's just sitting there. So, you want to talk about Google cars? Google's
oh yeah, these self-driving cars are pretty cool.
Autonomous vehicles. Article in the New York Times. Google cars drive themselves in traffic. I wonder if there's an ice cream truck with Eric Schmidt not driving. The idea behind this, Dmitry Dolgov is a Google engineer. I just do it because I can do a Russian accent.
Google Golf.
He's a Google Golf. He's driving. Well, no, I guess they put an engineer in there just in case it crashes.
Well, to make it legal, to make it street legal.
Wheel. That would be funnier.
But if there's
just put a dog behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's right. Have an engineer. So if you're driving now, see, I've driven Highway 1 between San Francisco and Los Angeles. It is a twisty, crazy, scary road. And if I were to see a Toyota Prius with a curious funnel-like cylinder on the roof and no one at the wheel, I think I would freak out.
Well, they have to put somebody at the wheel, so that's why nobody was freaking out, because they couldn't tell he wasn't driving it. Okay. But to actually make it street legal, they did some look at the rules of the road in California and found out that you can have automatic systems as long as there's somebody there monitoring them. So they had an engineer who could turn off the automatic driving by hitting the brake pedal, by speaking a word, and one other way. And they said they only had to actually do that, half a dozen times on this long trip.
1,000 miles these cars have driven without a driver. The rotating cone on the top is called LiDAR. It's a sensor on the roof that scans more than 200 feet in all directions to generate lying radar to generate a precise three-dimensional map of the car's surroundings. It then has 4 automotive radar sensors, 3 in front and 1 in the back, to determine the positions of distant objects. It has a position estimator, a sensor on the left rear wheel, which measures movements made by the car. I guess it's giving you kind of a dead reckoning. There's also a video camera in the front windshield near the rear view mirror that's detecting traffic lights. So there, and then there's computers.
And all this for less than $250,000. I want one.
It says 7 test cars have driven 1,000 miles without human intervention and more than 140,000 miles with only occasional human control. They even went down Lombard Street, which is the twistiest street in the world in San Francisco. The only accident was when one car was rear-ended while stopped at a traffic light. It wasn't even the car's fault.
And they also said a lot of the time when they had to...
Go ahead, Tom.
I say a couple of the times when they had to take control was because a bicyclist actually ran a red light in front of them, and it was harder for the car to see that.
Which reminds me,
yes,
bicyclists are doing this all the time. Why aren't they stopped and cited? Adobe, Microsoft. Anybody have any thoughts on this?
I think it's bogus. Tom, you covered this when it was breaking news that Microsoft might be acquiring Adobe. They have been meeting with Adobe.
Yeah, well, that's the actual story is that Steve Ballmer and the CEO of Adobe had a closed-door meeting. It's reported that they talked about ways of partnering, and then somebody somewhere speculated that maybe they talked about buying because, well, there's one way of partnering is Microsoft buys Adobe, and then it just all went off from there.
My understanding of the story was Ballmer made some allusion to it.
I never saw a quote. And maybe I missed it, but I never saw.
First of all, this would be a huge purchase. I mean, how much is Adobe worth? I mean, we're talking a big, big purchase. Not that Microsoft couldn't do it.
Not as much as Yahoo. $20 billion.
$20 billion.
Yeah, so it's not an easy acquisition, especially from a company that hasn't acquired publicly any company this year. They've done like some small acquisitions that they haven't made a big deal about, but there hasn't been anything newsworthy that they've acquired all year long. Well, maybe they're saving up for Adobe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the reason for that, Tom, is because they're still wiping their brow saying, wow, we just dodged a bullet with that Yahoo
We almost bought Yahoo!
They woke up with their hangover and were like, what did I almost bought Yahoo last night.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think it would be a good thing, actually, if Microsoft bought Adobe, because it would concentrate all the really bad security vulnerabilities in one company.
That's what we need to do. It would sure help users. It'd be bad for Apple, though. It'd be really quite a challenge to Apple because Adobe publishes between Adobe and Microsoft, probably 3/4 of the Apple software marketplace between Office.
But it brings us to
Photoshop.
the real point here, which is Microsoft trying to shove Phone 7 down everyone's throat. Anybody have any thoughts on where that's headed?
We're going to cover. We've decided to cover, and even though I have to get up very early in the morning to do it because it's 6:30.
In New York?
Yeah, it's 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow morning. Microsoft will stream this live. Tom, you want to come in early? You don't have to. I'll be sitting here. Yeah, I'll be sitting here in my jammies.
Microsoft, wait, let me get this straight, Leo. Microsoft's going to be streaming it live to the West Coast at 6:30 in the morning. This is their idea of good marketing, right?
They hadn't really thought about it. They said, well, it's 9:30 in New York. They hadn't really thought about it, obviously.
It's a Seattle company. People that even work at Microsoft won't be seeing it.
Well, I mean, yeah. It does seem odd. But we'll be here. I'll turn on the cameras. We'll stream. I may not look too clean-shaven, but we'll stream it live, and I'll do what we do traditionally with this kind of breaking news, which is commentary. Paul Thurrott will be there, and so we will get him on after the event and ask his opinion. He's written the book on Windows Phone 7. John, everybody I know who's seen Windows Phone 7 kind of likes it.
You know, I believe it's probably a good product, but that doesn't mean anything.
It's too late? Is that what you're saying?
It's a little too little, too late. It's still probably not going to have the display the Apple has, and you know they're so far behind on the curve. Even though they invented the entire market, which is the irony here, they're so far behind on the curve with the new paradigm for these things that I don't see how they can catch up, and I think it's already too late. I think they're locked out.
You know who really doesn't like Microsoft right now? The folks who do Angry Birds, Rovio Mobile, which is a Finnish company, observed in Microsoft online ad copy, where they were showing icons for apps, the Angry Birds icon. Rovio said, "Hey, they didn't ask our permission. We aren't currently developing for Windows Phone 7. We don't know if we will develop for Windows Phone 7. We think it's foul play to show the Angry Birds icon in an ad for Windows Phone 7. I'd kind of agree. This is the hottest app on iPhone, on iPad, and now on Android. And this is obviously Microsoft saying, hey, we got that too. But they don't. They tweeted they are not presently committed to bringing the game to Windows Phone, and the icon is being used in Microsoft marketing completely without permission. Whoops.
Well, there you have it.
Whoops.
In a nutshell.
That's a good way to piss off the #1 developer for games. Microsoft sent a note to Engadget saying, it appears information was mistakenly posted to Microsoft's website and has been removed. And, of course, the offending logo is now gone. But thanks to Engadget, we have a screen capture that will live forever.
Microsoft do that out of arrogance, you think? Just,
yeah.
They won't care. They'll love the free publicity.
That's very common to Microsoft, yes.
They probably assumed, hey, we're going to be a huge platform. Of course they're going to develop for us.
Well, there is a story that goes along with that if you want to hear it.
Yes, I do.
So when we licensed PC Magazine to Brazil for the first time, I went down there and hung out with the guy who was the publisher, who apparently was a world-class surfboard, that whatever you do when you have this surfboard, I don't know. Anyway.
Surfer, we call it. You mean windsurfer?
You windsurfer, world-class.
Yeah.
So anyway, he brings up the story about Microsoft because he's getting advertisements for the first few issues, and the Microsoft guy comes in and he says, here's the ads I want to put in. I want this ad, and this ad I want on page 4. I want And so the guy says, okay, well, this is going to cost. No, we're not going to pay for these ads. And he says, what do you mean you're not going to pay for these ads? He says, no, you have to put these ads in because no one's going to think you're a credible magazine unless you have Microsoft ads in your magazine.
Fair try. Did he do it?
No, he told them to screw themselves and slam the door on them.
And did people believe that he was a credible magazine without Microsoft
He stuck
ads?
around for a number of years, and then now he's done.
I would be incensed by such arrogance.
He was incensed. That's why he told me the story, knowing I'd repeat it.
Yeah, I mean that is fairly arrogant. Although it's a reasonable try.
Yeah, I guess anyone could give it a shot.
You can give it a shot. It didn't pan out, but you can't fault him for.
You can't fault the guys for trying.
Hey, give us a free ad. Look, you
like
don't
they
ask.
need it.
Yeah, like they need it. You don't ask, you don't get. Right? It's just that simple. This was a crazy day on Wednesday. So Google TV announcement from Logitech, Facebook announces groups and this download thing, and then Cisco same day, same time. And all of this, by the way, happening in San Francisco, has a press conference announcing Yumi. Perhaps the worst name I've ever heard.
It's not even UME, right? It's UMI.
UMI. So everybody's saying Umi, Uma? Umi? Oprah? Well, if you look at the advertising...
Isn't this some sort of fish roe that's kind of gooey?
Yeah, that's what... who said that sounded like it's a bad sushi? I think Molly Wood. It's got a one of those bars over the U, so you know you're pronouncing that long. So that's U.
Well, yeah, all Americans know that.
But they
they do because of Motley Crue.
Right, Crew. No, it's not an umlaut. It's
no, it's not an umlaut. It's a long.
Oh, long U. And you know they neglected to tell us how to pronounce the I. So really, they've left it up to us whether it's Yumi, Yumai, could be either.
I'd say Umi. Looking at that,
I would say Umi.
Well, you'd be wrong. See, that long bar over the U means it's a long U. It's Yumi.
In grammar school, I was taught that means
Y-O-U.
You were taught that means ooh?
Yeah, and then a smiley face above it means
That's a short U, is the smiley face, and the bar is a long U.
Which is ooh.
Is ooh?
Yeah.
Long U is ooh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. I think Tom's right.
Well, then they're really screwed up.
I would pronounce it Umi.
Okay, let me ask the chat room. Are there any English teachers, 6th or 5th grade English teachers in the chat room?
We have a native English speaker. We should ask him.
Are there any native English speakers in the chat room?
What I'd say is $599 for a video conferencing thing seems like a lot of money.
I guess we really won't have to learn the name at all.
Why don't we change the name to UJIP?
Not only is it $5.99 to buy it, but you pay $30 a month to use it.
Oh, that's no good.
$26 a month to use it.
Can't you use Skype for free?
Yes.
And it works on a computer. You don't need this device.
I think it sounds like they woke up in sort of 1985 and thought, wow, video conferencing is going to be the thing of the future, and they didn't realize it had already been done.
Whoops.
Well, there's this mistaken belief, and this is in the Skype TV as well, that you want to use your television for calling people. Because your television has video on it. So isn't that great? I'm going to call grandma on my TV.
No, you're not. That's not.
Wait, hey, Tom? Do you remember when there was a series? I said, Leo, you probably remember this. There was a bunch of televisions that were brought out in the 70s that you'd run your phone through, and when the phone would ring, it would interrupt the TV show, and you talk. You didn't have video, but you would talk over the TV. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like caller ID on your direct TV.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And now the murderer is ring.
Ring, ring. Hi, honey. Are you doing anything?
That was before DVRs when you couldn't even rewind.
Now, you can't call a Yumi from your PC. We've actually bought a Yumi and ordered it. Well, just because we thought, well, maybe if it's maybe it's so good. Oh, great. This is what everybody wants to watch. You doing a limbo party.
With flying boxes.
And then, never miss a thing. Well, I didn't miss that. That's
Cisco has got their heads up their ass when it comes to marketing. Their latest thing, somebody has what's the name of that girl who was in Juno? The actress.
Oh, those are the worst ads I've ever seen.
Page.
Ellen Page.
All this says to me is there's somebody in the marketing department who's got a crush on Ellen Page. Yeah. And so they hired her to do these ads. It's idiotic.
They're terrible ads. Let's just watch one. Just I just knocked down everything. Let's just watch one just so you get an idea of how awful these ads are. This is Ellen Page.
Look who's here. It's Ellen.
Hey, Mayor Wade. How you doing?
Great. Come on here. Would you like to see our new police department?
Yeah, all right.
This way. Here it is. Completely networked. So anything happening, Suze? She's all good.
That's great. My local police are watching me. Spying on me with a Cisco system, and they're showing Ellen Page how it works. Come on in, Ellen.
You're right, exactly. And look here's Leo's bedroom.
And the new community. See it? Live it.
That's not the new
community.
What the hell?
Cisco.
What the hell? I don't want that. By the way, who is that ad for? Is it for police departments?
I'm glad I'm an Omega. I'd hate to be an Alpha.
What?
So in Britain we've got CCTV cameras everywhere, and in fact there's a plan that's being talked about where the actual citizens can watch the CCTV cameras and report crimes and get cash rewards.
Oh,
so
that's great.
We're on the if you want the bleeding edge of the Big Brother state, come to Britain.
Cash awards. Let me just check, by the way, and
cash awards.
277 people have now pledged to Babbage. We only need 49,723 more. Please give generously. Give generously.
Give till it helps.
It's like the countdown to Bernie Madoff being let go.
I don't know what happened. I've lost control of the switcher. I can't get rid of this picture. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know what's happened. I've pushed a button. You're just gonna have to watch this.
The wrong button. Push it.
The tote board.
I can't. We're stuck on that page.
Timpani.
I can't do anything.
It's the special page that sticks you.
I don't know what I did.
That's right. You need to put more coal.
Oh, there it is. Oh, thank goodness. Oh,
here I am.
Oh, that was painful. I don't know. I clicked a button. Well, now I know. Now I know what that button does.
You just pushed a random button just to see what it does?
No, I accidentally clicked it. Whatever you do, do not push that button.
Okay, what do you got there, Leo, that you hung there? You didn't hang it there for not to get some attention. What is it?
No, it's just when we had a visitor from Kuala Lumpur, KL as he calls it. He's wanted you to go to Kuala Lumpur for some time, and you refused. So he gave me this little handicraft wood placard that says.
I refused what?
TWiT. Well, he told me that he couldn't get you to KL.
I've been to KL.
Oh, there you go.
I'd go back in a minute. It's a fantastic place.
Daniel, he'd go back in a minute.
I would.
He's the host of This Week in Asia, which is not an affiliate of the TWiT
one of your
network.
shows?
No, I don't know anything about it. But see, I don't mind if Daniel does that show. I think it's a good thing.
And Leo, can you share? Because when I try to, it says share across all your aspects. So when I try to share, it seems I can only share photos. But can you share text, just conversations? Or have you, I know, I can't see if you've done anything. Maybe you haven't.
I only have one friend. How can I share across my aspects? You're the only aspect I got.
Share something with me.
Hey there, Amber. So, and I can add photos. Now, by the way, it's kind of interesting because right now it's piggybacking on Twitter and Facebook, ironically, because when you post, that's where it goes. So I'm going to make that log into Twitter. I'm logged into Twitter. I'm logged into Facebook, manage connected services. Okay. I probably should post something better than "Hey there, Amber." What do you
derp
think about derp?
Yeah.
What's derp? D-E-R-P?
Derp?
I should just type derp?
Yeah.
Really? What will happen?
I'm not going to say.
All right. D-E-R-P. Capitalize it?
Sure. Yeah, that looks good.
Derp?
Period.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Derp?
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew told me to do this. Should I add a photo? Nah, no photo. Let's just derp. Okay, so I've derped now. Now that's going to go to Facebook, and it's going to go to Twitter. Oh, what have I done? Have you just told me to do something embarrassing?
I just found it on Know Your Meme, Andrew.
Oh, if I'd only gone to Know My Meme.
Sometimes used online to signify stupidity, much like the earlier forms of duh and der.
It's like duh or der.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, we were looking for something to say.
No, this is perfect. I thank you, Andrew. So now my third post on diaspora. I mean, I think this is okay, but I mean, it's no different than anything else. I'm hoping that they put a lot of underlying stuff in here and that there's a lot of stuff going on that we just don't see. And, of course, the ability to start a seed. And I'm going to wait. Once they get out of alpha.
I'm going to wait, too, because every time they do improve it, everybody's going to come back and have a look. So they've got the right traction right now.
Look, I got some requests. 2 new requests for friendship. I'm Leo, by the way. JoinDiaspora.com. So now what happens is you drag these people. It doesn't have their name or anything, so I don't really know who they are. That's Ralph. I'm going to make him a fan. So you're dragging him to an aspect. I have to say I like this part of it because
the drag and drop.
Yeah, it's making lists. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg said nobody wants to make lists. This is a very easy way to do it. When people ask you whether they want to be a friend, you can put them in a bin.
Well, if you get another set of invitations, Leo, send me one.
I will.
I'll
send
play.
you one. Okay. Let me see if I have any more left, because I had like 20, but I think that they all went away, is what happened. So don't ask me, folks. I ain't got them. Remember, Amber? I mean, we just get slaughtered when we say we got invites to anything.
Yeah, I remember Newsvine, 1,200 invites, 3 days of me online all night long, sending them out to every single person.
Whatever. Now, is that still around? Newsvine's still around, isn't it?
MSNBC bought it.
MSNBC bought it?
Yeah, owns it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Amber, see, you did all that work for MSNBC.
They owe me big time.
Derp. Invites are currently closed on this diaspora pod. Oh, there's seeds and there's pods. I wonder if there's stems.
You can request that feature, Leo.
I'd like to be a stem. Tim Berners-Lee says Facebook could fragment the web. Yeah, derp. How about this? FCC wants to use texting for 911. Does that seem like a good idea?
Well, sure. If you have, the average teenager sending, 3,000 texts a month or something like that, they don't use the phone.
Some kids are so fast with their thumbs. Help, I am falling off a cliff. They could probably do that fast enough.
Maybe they don't know how to use the phone. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, also the other thing is you can usually get your SMS to go through sometimes when
the
you
phone
can't get a
can't.
signal.
That's true,
That's a good point. I guess it makes sense.
Or,
they also want to allow protocols for sending video and audio along with it. So, if you're at a fire, you can take a video of the fire and where the location is, send GPS coordinates along with your SMS.
That's actually kind of interesting. I don't know how valuable it is. What do they need a video of it for?
The only thing they need to be careful of is, I know with some of the news stations in Toronto, and I'm sure it's the same thing in other places, is because they're asking for all of this user-generated content. The thing is, people are risking their lives to, to video fires. And if there's a car accident, people are pulling over because they want to be able to capture footage, and it just makes me a little bit concerned.
The iReport generation.
Somebody in the chat was just wondering what would happen if you sent in derp into 911. What would they do?
I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not going to take a chance. I've already derped the internet. I don't know if I want to do any more derping.
Well, another question
I blame you, Andrew.
Is SMSing too easy? To use 911 right now, you pick up the phone, you have to dial it, you have to talk to the operator, it's a person to person, and it makes it harder to do, it makes it harder to do something fake. Whereas, if you just want to prank something, you just, call in a man down at a location on your phone, and you end up hitting the cops, and it's a false alarm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to gauge, the tone of it, right? And I think that's. Like, I'll tell you guys a quick little story. But my old roommate Jenna, her mom was traveling in Northern Ontario, and she sent us a text message that said, "Bears everywhere, send help." And this was the first text message that she. Oh, seriously, this is the first text message she ever sent in her life. So Jenna and I are at home. It's a Saturday afternoon. We obviously didn't have better things to do. We start freaking out. We start laughing, and then we think, oh my gosh, what if it's true? Because we know she's driving through Northern Ontario. There's a lot of bears, and maybe she doesn't need help. So of course, I'm on the phone with the RCMP. We try to call her. We can't get through. There's no signal. And so all of a sudden, like 3 hours later, we get through, and her mom starts laughing her head off. But because we couldn't establish the tone that it was a joke, right? If she had called and left a message, we would have been
There's
like,
no tone, is there?
There's no tone. And so we got in an embarrassing
Speaking
situation.
of lack of tone, I'm told now that my derp post has been retweeted multiple times.
It's a meme.
I've created a derp storm on the Twitter.
That's why derp is a meme. It just, you hear it and you just start going with it.
And people are saying, this week in derp, herp, derp, derp. Look at all these derps. And it's all because of me. Actually, it's all because of you. I blame you, Andrew.
Well, you typed it in.
I was the moron that did it. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I have derped.
No, it's awesome.
Scott Johnson will be happy, they say. I won't be here, by the way, next week. Tom Merritt will be filling
in for the French Leo Laporte. He is at Le Web right now, enjoying himself, visiting the Eiffel Tower, eating baguettes, probably drinking wine while we slave away here in his absence. But we have a great panel for you today. Starting in the studio this time, Mr. John Dvorak. You had some booze to pick up. That's why you dropped by. Is that right?
John C. Dvorak to you.
That's
and
right.
Yes, as a matter of fact, because I know these guzzlers around here would wipe this thing out if I left it here another week.
ChannelDvorak.com if you would like to learn more about why you need to put that C in the middle and other things.
Yeah, it's just for channel.
Right.
JohnChannelDvorak.com.
John Dvorak, his middle name is Channel. Also joining us from CNET, executive editor, is that right?
Yeah.
Molly Wood, host of Buzz Out Loud, host of the Buzz Report. I'm just going to list everything you do now.
We could be here a while.
We will be here.
That kind of time.
Hey, it's great to be doing a show with you again.
I know. I missed you. I wish I was in the studio, but it's too rainy and I can't go out.
It's too rainy yet. John C. Dvorak came here.
That's right.
Yeah, but again, there's a reason. Booze involved. If you had told me about the booze.
See, that was our mistake. We shouldn't have told. Yeah. We should have told you. Google also ended its week-long suit. Well, we don't. It was probably going on for longer than a week, but the rumors have been going for a week that they were going to buy Groupon. Apparently, Groupon walked away from it.
I'm now thinking this was a publicity stunt
for Groupon.
Yeah, or for both of them. I don't know. This whole
the
deal didn't sound right, did it?
It sounded weird that Google would buy a company that doesn't do anything algorithmically.
And for that kind of money and a make-buy decision that Google couldn't do it?
Was it $6 billion they walked away from? This reminds me of a conversation Molly Wood and I had on Buzz Out Loud years ago when Facebook walked away from, what was it? That was like only a few million, I think, right?
Yeah, that was just
$6 billion.
30 or 40 million, I think. I don't understand anybody walking away from $6 billion. If that deal fell apart, I think it has everything to do with the Justice Department and nothing to do with money.
I think it had nothing to do with anything. I think this was a phony deal from the get-go.
Groupon, by the way, if you don't know, it's pretty popular, so I imagine most everybody knows. But it's a way to get discounts, right? It's a coupon site. They have one deal per day per city.
I don't think it was bogus though, because everybody else is doing this. Amazon put that money into whatever the Live Local thing, the same thing. But no, everyone is getting into a way to try to localize search results and localize reviews. So there's no question that Google should want something like this. Maybe they didn't want to pay that much in the end. I cannot see Groupon being like $6 billion. I don't think so.
I agree.
What?
I heard some good reasons why Google would want to have a company with a huge local sales staff that could help out with AdSense.
They have something like 3,500 salespeople locally.
And Google doesn't have very many salespeople. They kind of rely on AdSense to just work on its own.
Amazon invested $175 million in Living Social. eBay bought some other company that does Milo.com, which also does niche, like localized searching. So everybody in Google space is starting to play in the local playground.
Maybe this was a move for Groupon to get all of their competitors bought so they could be the only remaining independent.
That's convoluted.
Well, you know, if you're going to go along that line of thinking, there's also the possibility, because we've seen Google do this before, you know, try to bid something up to make some sucker, a.k.a. Microsoft, come in and overspend on something that Google really didn't want in the first place. And I think this may have been like, you know, one of those deals where you have the dollar bill hooked to a little fish line, you know, and you throw it out there, see if Microsoft tries to pick it up, and you pull it away.
Does $6 billion for Groupon? I think everybody agreed that that was just an outrageous amount of money for this company, at least right now. Is this a sign that there is a bubble in venture capital in investing?
No, I think it's pent up demand, because there's nobody can do an IPO because of Sarbanes-Oxley.
I was waiting for it.
Hey, you know, I bring it up when I can. He's the one who set me up with a slow pitch. So nobody can do an IPO, and so you got all these people. They got money, they want to invest, they want to throw it at companies, and they can't. So they have to buy these companies, because these companies can't go public and get some money to grow. It's ruining the economy. It's ruining the country. It's ruining the business. We're screwed because of this.
I think there's a venture bubble, though, too. I mean, I think there's a way everybody's over relying now on purchasing smaller companies to build up your portfolio, and as a result, venture capital guys are just throwing money at these tiny companies that are wanting to get bought. And I just yesterday Friday, had lunch with somebody who's going to work at a startup and said it's warm body time again in San Francisco, where they're just pulling people off the street, giving them a hot meal, cleaning them up, and putting them to work.
Spraying them down. Get in the room here. We got to hose them down.
That's why all those startups have showers. It's not for the bikers.
Hosing them down.
Because they're hiring bums.
Give them a cot.
I think the reason there is a bubble is because you have people saying there is definitely not a bubble whenever they're, you know, that is the true sign, is when people say, hey, is there a bubble? And people go definitively, no, this will last forever. This is not a problem.
That is a bubble, you're right.
And that's we're starting to get people saying
like when people say invest in the stock market, nobody thinks it's going to crash, and it crashes. Or oh, it's terrible, don't buy any stock, and then it goes up. I mean, yeah, that's not unusual.
If you wanted a Microsoft kin, and who doesn't, you better get it now, because according to Electronista, Verizon is going to return all unsold kin devices to Microsoft tomorrow.
Oh, we got to get one.
All online sales of the kin 1 and 2 have been suspended. Basically, the kin, which according to Electronista has only sold 9,000 units.
Oh, wow.
He's not only
that many?
Yeah. John Gruber said 503. And he based that on an anonymous Microsoft source. The real question is this going to end up in a landfill somewhere so that Michael J. Fox can hoverboard to it and find it and say, ooh, look at this, a kin.
The kin, I mean, I think their marketing campaign, because I've been looking at sort of
what went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the success of the Old Spice guy. I mean, look at that.
We're going to talk about him next.
Yeah, the success of that versus the kin, where they hired all these actors to go out and meet with their people on Facebook,
pictures of their up-shirt, T-shirt pictures.
But I mean, ultimately, it's just a giant brick of.
Sasha Segan on PC Magazine said, quote, the kins are misbegotten, crippled creatures compared to pretty much every other smartphone on the market. They've been priced as smartphones with smartphone data plans, and they'll be sold as smartphones, but they're stupid. I added that part at the end. So it was a misbegotten device.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I want one. John, we should corner the market on kins.
You know, one of the big great collector's items sometime in the future.
So. Especially that kin 1, because it was so little and cute.
The little round one.
You could stick it right in your bra and carry it around. Nobody know yet.
I stopped wearing a bra, Leo. What about you?
I've apparently revealed too much.
Made a big deal of the fact that it was able to synchronize with the cloud, which I don't think anyone really cared about that much.
Isn't that interesting?
It's like big deal, you know.
Yeah.
We don't really want that. We want
didn't
all
Microsoft
kinds of apps.
just some months back lose its complete cloud at some point, and all these people had to get their phones?
That was the Sidekick, the Danger Sidekick.
The Sidekick,
which
crap.
has also been
who's
killed.
going to trust them?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's also been killed.
Okay, so I would say that, you know, the automatic cloud syncing stuff, Brian Klug, the antenna guy from our iPhone 4 stuff, he actually did an article called Microsoft's Kin, a Eulogy. And that was the one feature that he actually said, look, all phones need to have this. This needs to be in Windows Phone 7. This needs to be in future versions of Android and iOS. It's truly like a great example of something that just works, that you don't really have to touch. Now, the other aspects of the CAN, obviously, that's why it failed. But the idea behind this, that you take photos, everything you do is just stored in your own personal account online that you can access from anywhere. That is kind of cool, right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want all of our content on any device, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, the problem is the anywhere, anytime issue. I mean, I was up in Port Angeles floating around looking for a specific place out on the peninsula, and I was using a Nexus 1, and the phone all of a sudden, there was no signal to be had because I was in just some area where there's no signal. If I have no signal, zero signal, what good is the cloud going to do me? And this is going to happen once in a while.
Yeah, but you still had local storage of information, right?
Well, yeah, but then why do I need the cloud?
It's for convenience, right? So say you're away from your phone, or say you're on someone else's notebook and you're like, oh, hey, I took these pictures on my phone. I don't have to show you on the phone. I can pull it up on my notebook or on your notebook or on your TV. I mean, it's just that added flexibility is very nice.
Well, you argue for the cloud. I just find it to be just something that's going to cost me more money.
Well,
and yes, the chat room says the Dvorak hates clouds. I don't hate clouds.
He also hates puppies, kittens.
I hate puppies.
And, so I wouldn't argue blindly in favor of the cloud. I just think you have to use everything to its benefits, to its strengths.
Well, and that's the key. Nobody's saying let's replace computers with the cloud. It's It's another thing. I mean,
yes,
exactly. The Carbonite I was just talking about, that's cloud backup. It's backup of your data. I mean, it's not like you give up your data. You still have.
Do we really need to?
Backup using the cloud for backup is fine with me.
Speaking of the iPhone, were we? I think we were. San Mateo.
When were we not?
Yeah, I know. Well, a couple more iPhone stories, and we're going to move on. I really want to get to the Old Spice guy for Lisa. San Mateo County officials have withdrawn a search warrant issued for Gizmodo. Remember, we got all bent out of shape over this.
What was this, like a perpetual search warrant? This story has baffled me.
Jason Chen was the Gizmodo reporter who had the stolen or found iPhone. Authorities searched his house in April, and they wanted to keep the information that they found on those electronic devices that they confiscated. Chen agreed to submit information that was on those devices, but the search warrant drew heat from critics and me and many people on this show because they violated shield laws that protect journalists. Mr. Chen's attorney went to the district attorney saying, if you agree to withdraw the search warrant, we will grant you access to the information you're looking for.
What does that mean?
Well, and this is why there's a shield law, because you get the computer, and yeah, you're looking for one thing, but it could be a fishing expedition. You can find maybe if this is a journalist that you are targeting, you could find other source information. So the attorney said, look, you're going to have problems in court with this shield law. Why don't we give you the information you're looking for and protect the rest of the information on his system? They said yes, and they dropped the search warrant. But
do we have any idea what information they were looking for? I mean, he's basically... I mean, what kind of information could they possibly be looking for that would incriminate him for anything?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. They don't say that anybody has been charged with a crime. And
this whole thing is sketchy.
Yeah. I think what happened is that React and the district attorney in San Mateo realized that they had a problem with potentially an illegal search, so they made a deal. They compromised with Chen's attorney. I think this is actually good news. It means that those shields laws do carry some weight. And I think Gizmodo did the right thing. They said, look, we just want to protect our other sources. We'll give you the information about this specific thing.
Humph.
Would you buy a Nexus 2, John?
A Nexus 2?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sorry, you don't buy anything. Would you accept a Nexus 2 free?
Absolutely. Hey, can I get a plug-in?
Yeah.
My Twitter numbers have not gone up much because I haven't been promoting it. So I want people to sign on to the real Dvorak and get me. I got to get some numbers. It's like
John,
ridiculous.
how many do you have? How greedy are you?
68,700, something like that.
How many?
It's nothing.
Nothing.
Say it again.
68,700. 93.
You need more bikini photos.
68,000.
Is that your secret?
I'm just
That's only
saying.
half of what
Really I don't want to see John in a bikini. I saw Odocta in a towel, and I'm still suffering from that. I don't want to see John in a bikini.
I don't either.
I think you'd look better than Odocta in a towel, however.
Well,
and I love Owen.
So John, what is your Twitter account name?
The Real Dvorak.
Oh, but make sure you spell
D-V-O-R-A-K.
Make sure you spell Twitter right, because I spelled it with 2 I's, and I got a.
Oh yeah, and you get a Parker site.
Parker site. Here it is. No.
No, you're anyway. Let's talk.
No, I want to show your page. There it is.
There it is.
What is with the clouds?
It's a cloud.
You got clouds on your page.
Cloud computing, baby. Cloud computing.
That's the only kind of cloud computing John likes. Wait a minute. Let's see who John's following. All attractive women, John. Who's Bobby Eden?
Oh, that's the stripper that was going to give everyone who followed her some oral sex if the Netherlands teams won the. Hey, why not take a chance? What does it hurt? You asked.
Oh, I'm happy I asked. By the way, she's got 103,000 followers.
She started with 7,000 before she made the offer.
Well, there you go.
Clearly.
She is, according to her Twitter page, #1 Dutch porn star.
So, John, what are you going to do for your followers?
Exactly.
I'm going to thank them profusely.
Okay, we've
With
already
emphasis
gone
on the profuse.
You're going to profuse all over them?
Profusing all over them once again. So what do you think of this? I thought this was a really smart campaign on Old Spice's part.
It's definitely the best interactive web-based advertising that we've seen.
So we've talked before about the Old Spice ad, "I'm on a horse," which I love. It's like
Swan Dive.
Swan Dive. Well, and then there was a sequel, Swan Dive, came out a couple of weeks ago. Whedon and Kennedy, the agency that did this, just brilliant. In fact, we did a video dissecting the "I'm on a horse," how they did it, piece by piece with the creatives.
Cool.
I'm catching up with your Barney video, John. I've almost got 1 million views on that.
Oh, really?
You better get another Barney video.
People go to the Dvorak Uncensored on YouTube and watch Barney.
This is your marketing strategy?
Yes.
So what Old Spice did is they got Isaiah, I can't remember his last name, Mustafa, and he's a football player, really hunky guy, right? And they got him in, and I think they must have just sat there in studio and watched people tweet him.
Well, it looks like they had him in studio for about 2 or 3 days, and they were watching any sort of @tweets, and they would actually do a video reply.
Right.
And if you go through, I mean, there's like hundreds of them. And there's Kevin Rose and
we talked about that last week because we know Kevin, and he kind of said, "Get well, Kevin." But there was a wedding proposal there. Well, he and Alyssa Milano have been going back and forth.
I mean, it's so smart. I mean, it's the engagement factor that really has made this as popular as it is.
Isaiah Mustafa.
Yeah. His daughter, Haley, sent him a Twitter saying, "Why is it you look so much like my dad?"
It's like my dad. Well, Haley, the truth is, scientists have discovered that there's a parallel universe, and your father must live in that universe that's parallel to mine. Unfortunately, I happen to be more successful, well-known, and richer than your dad. So just because I'm so rich, don't expect your father to be rich, because he's probably a struggling actor whom no one has ever heard of, until recently. So you'll have to keep playing with those old toys. But if I were your dad, I'd buy you anything your heart desires. You deserve it, monkey.
Oh, they're kind of sweet.
And he comes up with that on the fly?
Well, obviously they have a
really
team
good.
of copywriters sitting there,
yeah,
right?
It's the writing. Such smart writing.
Let me see if I can find the marriage proposal, because that's really well
good.
done. This is how you do viral marketing,
They
right?
even did Reddit did one where he gave them sort of an answering machine, so you could just piece together all the different numbers and create your own message on your phone.
Really?
Yeah.
So you could do an Old Spice.
You could do, yeah.
So why does this work when so many other social media efforts by big companies just are terrible?
But I mean, obviously being successful on YouTube is huge, but also just like I said before, like the engagement factor that people are engaging in this, and then you get all the retweets, and then you got all the people on YouTube talking about it, and I mean it's just and the writing.
I have
is
a
so
thought
smart.
on this too.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
Every one of these things that's worked has a sense of humor.
Yes, funny. It's got to be funny first.
And all the ones that are serious never work. That's my thought for the day.
No, that's good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll be here all the week.
I'll give you
I'll
give you another thought in a second.
Right? Like it just
say again.
They're not trying to push anything on you.
That's
right? Like,
you
it's
know
just,
what?
It's
there
hilarious
you go.
and it's entertaining.
They never mention Old Spice in these things. Well, they do a
Well,
little
they
bit.
do. I mean, he's saying,
But in a very tongue-in-cheek way.
Yeah.
Here's the marriage proposal. I can play it.
On Twitter, J.S. Beals tweets, "Can you ask my girlfriend to marry me? Her name is Angela A. Hutt-Chamberlain. J.S. Beals, thank you for your tweet, and I'd be honored to honorably honor your honorable request. Miss Angela A. Hutt-Chamberlain, it seems like yesterday that you met J.S. Beals, but your love has blossomed from a seed into a fully grown love plant. Now it's time to fertilize that plant.
This is part I like. The lights dim.
Angela A. Hutt-Chamberlain, will you make J.S. Beals the happiest man in the world and marry him in real life?"
And then the candles roll back out and the lights come back
We'll
up.
be eagerly awaiting your reply. Eagerly.
It's really good creative, Leo. It's
It is.
really
Good
good
writing.
creative.
Good
I mean,
writing. Yeah.
That's what makes it go. Yeah, the whole thing.
And of course, we're playing it. Everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody's, I'm sure, retweeting it and sending it to friends. And by the way, she said yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Would that work for you? I wonder, I think it's...
Apparently not.
I think. Well, I remember reading. Sometimes people call the sports events. They call the scoreboard and they say, "Would you put the marriage proposal up on the scoreboard?" And I was reading. I think it was at Yankee Stadium. The scoreboard people say, "Yeah, we get 2 or 3 a week. Last minute, stop the proposal. Please don't do it. Whatever. Oh my God, I've made a horrible mistake.
I sobered up.
That's probably what it is." Anyway, so I think success and congratulations to Isaiah Mustafa, who has now been on every TV show, and he's probably got a great career ahead of him. And again, credit to really the creative behind this at Wheaton and Kennedy, because they did a great job. That was fun. Lisa Bettany's been a long-time friend of the show, and I have some very good news. Lisa and I are going to do a photography show with some of our favorite photographers, including Trey Ratcliffe, and many others. That's going to be coming up. In fact, it'll probably be the first show to come out of our new studios. More about those new studios coming up in just a little bit. But before we go much farther, and in just a second, we're going to find out what happens when somebody plays chat roulette live on the air. Don't know who that would be. But before we do that, I'm going to have a sip from my giant bowl of Michigan. I did that for Ken. And mention Carbonite Pro, one of our longtime sponsors. We've talked about Carbonite Consumer Backup for a long time now. Easiest, simplest, most effective way to back up your data. Off-site, automatic. You can get it back anywhere. A lot of people started using Carbonite Consumer for their small businesses. And that's when Carbonite said, well, yeah, we really ought to do a business version. That's where Carbonite Pro came from. Same ease of use. And the nice thing about Carbonite Pro is you don't pay per user. You just pay for the amount of storage you use. So whether you've got 2 employees or 200, all you pay for is how much you're backing up. And it's very affordable. Prices start at $10 a month. That gives you 20 gigabytes of backup, enough for 10 desktops, each with 2 gigs. That's a lot for $10 a month. It's automatic. You have a centralized dashboard so you know which systems are backed up and which aren't. And your users can restore the same easy way they restore with Carbonite Consumer, with the iPhone app, the BlackBerry app, or just by logging into the net from any computer. CarbonitePro.com. I want you to try it free in your small business. 30 days for free. CarbonitePro.com. We do thank Carbonite for bringing us, for keeping us afloat for the last year, helping us bring you this great programming. Now, back to the best of the holiday special. Yes, that explains why I'm dressed like this. We are going to find out in a moment what happens when Leo decides to play chat roulette live on the air, and mirth and merriment ensue. Watch. Even my wife knows about chat roulette, and she doesn't know about anything. So I'm going to go to chat roulette. So what happens with chat roulette is what?
You're going to go to
You're not going to chat roulette live. You can't do that.
Why not? You think there's some naked guys going to be on there?
1 out of 20 is a penis.
Don't do it.
1 out of 20 is a penis?
Oh, yeah.
So how do I start
That's
this?
the tagline.
But it says chat roulette does not tolerate broadcasting.
Right. Right on.
Why does everything on the internet have to turn into porn?
Click play. Okay.
Don't do it.
No, it's going. You have to hit the play on the top left. Top left.
What?
You have to play. Top left. The other top left.
Oh yeah, Leo's on his ball.
It works. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you from?
Hello, we're calling.
I can't hear you. You chat. You type.
Oh, you type?
They can hear you.
Shoe on head.
Oh, they pressed next. Dudes, you just got more clicks than you will ever have in the rest of your life. All right, so I'm gonna play next. So you press next, right?
Yeah.
And
You're not playing chat roulette.
You're doing this.
Oh!
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, it only took one.
Weren't you, Leo? You were warned.
Oh, Leo.
Oh! So I really thought this was and it's the same, in a way it's the same conversation. It doesn't have to do with government regulation, but it's the nature of open. In the article in the Times yesterday, Stephen Johnson quotes Harvard's Jonathan Zittrain, who talks about
author of The Future of the Internet and How to Stop It.
Yeah. You've read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really neat, interesting guy. He talks about the generative power of the net. He says, when you don't have to ask permission to create and share new ideas, when small, innovative startups can compete with giant multinationals, I think of us as a good copy of that. I'm competing with Rupert Murdoch, even though he's got all this power. Thanks to the internet, inexpensive consumer electronics, I can create television that anybody in the world can see. So that's the generative power of an open, a free internet, the kind of thing that we want to protect, whether it's through government regulation, which I know some people don't like the idea of, maybe through free markets, but we need to protect it. You'd agree with that, right, Brian?
Yeah, I just love the fact that you guys both look at each other, which some people
Some people who shall remain nameless, Brian Brushwood, libertarian. You would categorize yourself as a libertarian.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's so fun to talk to you.
I know.
That's great. That's just great. I'm saying that seriously.
You know what a libertarian is.
Yeah.
It's just a Republican in
no, that's
in
definitely
sheep's
not true.
clothing.
That's definitely not true. It's
You don't think
definitely
so?
not true.
I like to think we get the, we're just a fan of freedom on all sides.
Yeah, they appeal to a lot of progressive people on like torture and
You know what a socialist
rights,
is.
but also me,
A Frenchman.
a Frenchman. Sorry, go ahead. You were setting up this story. And
No, I forgot now where I was going. Oh, the generative power of the web, the open
Stephen
web.
Johnson article.
Okay, so then if you believe that, then you look at Steve Jobs and Apple and you say, well, this is the opposite, isn't it? It's a walled garden. It's AOL. It's MSN. It's CompuServe all over again, where we control everything rigidly, and you didn't see any innovative stuff happening on those platforms because you couldn't. It was their way or the highway.
Right.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Steve Jobs has created this app store. I think maybe against the will of Apple. It certainly wasn't their original plan. When the iPhone came out, they said, oh, you don't need apps. You got web apps. It's great. You should be happy. That didn't work. So they created the app store.
said, we will never, ...
Probably did. We'll never have apps. I'm sure he had some reason why apps were a bad thing, right?
And why you would never want them.
You wouldn't want an app. So people demanded an app. Year 2, they made App Store. Year 3, they've got 175,000 applications. 185.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one who could say that it hasn't been innovative, that it hasn't been generative. What the hell? How did this happen? And that's what Johnson's writing about in the Times. He said, rethinking a gospel of the web. This has been gospel. Is it wrong?
It's a spectrum.
Nothing's black and white.
It certainly is, and that's sometimes a cop-out in an argument, but I think in this case,
you're right.
It is true because Apple has opened the doors wide enough to let a lot of non-Apple innovation in while still retaining control enough to maintain a user experience that meets their standard. Mm-hmm. So not everybody agrees on that intersection. There are people who want apps and capabilities, tethering, routers, VoIP in the background, true multitasking, that doesn't meet Apple's standard. And so they draw a line that is closer to home than what some innovators want. So not every type of innovation can happen. what Apple has decided is, well, we can't do it all ourselves. I mean, there's a benefit to the platform owners in opening up because they can't solve every problem. They can't write every code. And so they've drawn a compromising line which satisfies the vast majority of their audience. And the more purists, the more geek-oriented are less happy because they'd love to do a lot more. They see potential where others might not. And so you get this frustration at that margin. But overall, Apple's been relatively open. And I'm someone who's pushed for a lot more from them.
Right.
But I also recognize a lot of what Steven's written is true.
So now let me. anybody want to say anything before I throw the monkey wrench?
Say this really makes me think of the Ed Felton blog where he said iPad is the Disneyland of computers.
Disneyland.
Yeah,
it's a sanitized experience.
Yeah. Right, which is very it's everything you wish. Just like the middle of downtown Disneyland is the little quaint American town. It's the exact picture.
This
of
is
how
how
you
it
would
used to be in America when everybody ate candied apples.
When no apps crashed.
No apps crashed.
There was no blue screen of death.
Yeah. It's an interesting combination because you have this walled garden where you can create applications and they work really well, and Apple has a set of standards that you develop by. And on the same token, if you don't like that, you can go to a more open operating system like Android or Palm OS, and then you can, have that experience. And it's like, do you either want to make applications that you can sell millions of copies on in the Apple Store, or do you want to develop something that's more open and, cross-platform on Android or Palm?
It's true, though. Let's point it out that there is a very good web browser on the iPad and the iPhone, and it's Safari, and you can even run web apps that I can design and anybody can design. But now here's the monkey wrench. Because in iPhone 4.0 agreement, Apple did something that I think the tent poles are meaningless compared to this. They said, going forward, you may not develop applications for this platform, iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad, with anything but Apple-approved tools.
And I thought they just said, screw you, Adobe.
Yeah, well, it was clearly screw you, Adobe.
Was I wrong in reading it that way?
So,
how can they? I guess they could tell because the code generated clearly indicates what.
Oh yeah, they know
software was used to put
it's
it together.
Not quite as sloppy as front page making websites, but
that's
rude.
And this only works. Microsoft could have done the same thing with Windows, except that anybody could sell applications. It was an open platform. Right. You cannot sell applications unless Apple says yes, right? So this only works because Apple gets to say what applications run.
By the way, this is a really interesting face-off because on the one hand, Apple has first mover advantage. It has all the momentum. It currently has most of the software, but it seems like in the long term, I mean, I believe Apple was pretty far ahead in the PC days early on until Microsoft was completely open to everyone.
Right.
And I wonder, it'll be really interesting to see if the Android completely open architecture allows for catch-up. I don't know.
I think an Android tablet could be pretty good.
I think it could be good, but I think Apple's learned from the past. They're not repeating the same mistake. First of all, they're integrated a lot more, and the big step is commerce. What Veronica was talking about with, you can go to Android or Palm OS, but you can't get as large a pool of money, at your footsteps as a developer, as a content producer or seller, than you can get in the iTunes App Store. They've made the friction between you and getting that app and money in between really slick, super smooth, super fast. So if you want to, you can make a web
developer,
app.
it's pretty good.
Monetizing that web app is a lot harder on an iPhone than selling it in the App Store would be because there's no payment.
And plus, as Gruber said, it's really dangerous for Apple to rely on something like Flash when if anything happens to Flash and it breaks and suddenly all these iPhone apps no longer work or iPad apps, then that's going to be a bad experience for the users.
I got a feel for John because Steve Jobs. Actually, when a developer sent him an email saying, I hate this, Jobs said, well, read John Gruber's blog post because we think he's got it right.
Yeah.
And I've got to think that John's he's cringing, right? Oh, damn.
Looks like he's Steve's man.
Oh, damn. And although it's a great honor. But Gruber said some interesting things. Gruber did, in that same blog post, point out that it's a lock-in for Apple, that Apple is, it's good for business. He says it's mostly good for users. And this is the question. Is a move like this for Apple's benefit or our benefit?
I think
it's for the benefit of the Objective-C developer whose price just went up. Because what you've done is made development more expensive.
So you're saying developers should like it?
I'm not saying developers as a group should like it, but what I am saying is that they've forced the segmentation in the developer market.
It does mean if you're a company developing mobile software that you can't develop on one code that runs on all platforms.
So they're sort of decommoditizing development tools.
That's a good way to put it.
Great. Well, it seems like a lot of cross-platform applications, tend not to be as fully featured and
again
nice to use
John
as
Gruber's
ones that are developed strictly for the iPhone or iPad operating system.
He points to the Kindle app on the Mac and says I think a turd was the word he used.
Did use turd.
He used that word, yes.
I don't think it's that bad, but I can see where he's coming from for other things.
Yeah.
I mean, is the case where the output with using those tools was so unbelievably bad
I don't think
that they
so.
just needed to protect the consumer? I mean, this is clearly a we're going to make it a little bit difficult for you.
Well, how many consumers are even going to notice?
Nobody
unless
knows.
something is breaking, they're not going to care whether it's something that's been developed, as a cross-platform application, or if it's something that was developed solely for the iPhone. I mean, yeah, maybe the geeks will notice if they can't run an application between Android and
Gruber
iPhone
notices that the
4.0.
kerning isn't perfect on an application. He's
Right.
not the typical user.
He is the 1 percentile.
Yeah.
As are we probably in that regard too.
So is what Apple's doing anti-competitive?
It's certainly rude.
It's rude. Bad news.
It's ill-mannered.
Flash to Apple. You hurt our feelings.
Because it's saying essentially, Adobe, screw you. Because Adobe's been working on it, but not just Adobe. There are other projects as well to work on cross-platform development products that will include Flash on the iPhone. That will allow Adobe to get back onto the iPhone, and Apple's basically slamming the door on
like
them.
days ahead of that.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting, I've gotten to a heated but respectful email argument with someone. I was complaining about how
Everything's fine here, officer. We're all fine.
Don't look at me.
If you see a sudden sizzling coming out of the TriCast,
apparently Steve Jobs is upset.
Apparently Baratunde said the wrong thing.
I hit a code word, and the house
here
collapsed.
comes Colleen, because as soon as she hears liquid pour into the TriCaster, she gets upset. That's all right.
It seems like a well-rehearsed maneuver she just did.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, yes, Audible.com. No. No, go ahead. What were you saying, Baratunde? Ooh.
He's like, I don't know.
She's worried about the broken glass next to my ball.
Like that would ever pop.
All right, get
and
the
you'd fall right
recorders
down
going
or
because we don't want to miss that opportunity. Oh, and also, it made you black and white.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
That's
I had to look and see if that was Mir
now you're back.
Baratunde. I think.
He was actually
Where's that
shades of
trombone?
gray.
That sad trombone.
Sad
That's right.
trombone. Bring it back. So, Blippy. I like Blippy. Do you use Blippy, Shira?
I don't use Blippy. I don't care to share what I'm buying with people, really, that much. I just tweet it. If I'm buying something and I want to share it, I just tweet it.
Yeah, I think the advantage of Blippy is it's kind of automatic. You hook up your Amazon or your iTunes. You could hook up a credit card to it, and it's kind of like it automatically tweets your purchases. It's a conversation starter.
I'm starting to research gear that goes along with procreation, and I don't understand how people choose strollers and
So that'd be a good
carriers
example.
and that kind of thing. And
You
I
could
go
see
to
what-
Amazon and the top rated,
Yeah.
stuff, and I don't know if this crazy person, thinks this stroller is great. Like, I don't know anything about this.
Natalie, just call me.
That's what you do. That's what you
So
do.
I
You call
would
another
appreciate
mom.
something where, like, if I did buy this one stroller and people would be like, it'll cut your baby's fingers off, then,
You know what's funny is that because our kids are 18 and 15 now, I know all about strollers from the 90s.
Oh, yeah?
But
That's great advice, Leo.
It changes. It's like
Dude, that McLaren rocks.
exactly. We had a McLaren.
What is that?
Do they still have McLarens?
Yeah, they have McLarens. They're okay. They're
It's
like
British.
the station wagon. They're solid.
That's what
but
we had
there's
as a
so
McLaren.
much. We've evolved.
But you don't use a Preca. Those are kind of those are junky. No.
No,
What do you
no.
like?
The City Mini. You
City
gotta get
Mini.
it, Natalie. It's the best. It is
Okay.
the best.
Is
I'm
it-
gonna hook you up with some serious
I'm
recommendations.
sorry to turn this into baby
Maneuverability
talk,
is
you guys. I really
amazing.
don't mean to do this, but I just
Shira's crossing her legs
I'm
right
saying
now.
that this
She's
is
like,
just
I don't
a
want to
use
know.
case.
I'm enjoying. I'm just observing. I have
Okay.
nothing more to
Okay.
say. Should we back into the Blippy credit card exposure?
Well, that's why Blippy's that's why Blippy's in the news. And somebody told me one of them was mine, but I don't think that's the case.
It wasn't.
Yeah. So what happened with Blippy is they take the raw feed from your credit card. They are using the same service that Mint uses, which is the same service that a lot of banks use. What is it? I can't remember what the name of it is. Is some silly Web 2.0 whoopie doopie name. But all of the banks use it. So you're not giving your credit card information to Blippy per se. You're giving it to this third party that banks and Mint use. So it's not like you're revealing anything. But the information Blippy was getting back did include credit card numbers and a lot of other raw information. Their automatic system strips it out and then posts this kind of bowdlerized version of what you bought. But apparently Google was caching full information. And if you did a Google search for Blippy, you could get these credit card numbers. But it was only 4 numbers, right, Becky? Is that right?
It was 5, they say. And I went through all 18 pages because we were going to do it for GMA. And so I started going through all 18 pages and also noticed it was the same 4.
thing,
And then 1 number was on like a later page. And
they were early adopters.
This
is from beta, but I was part of the beta, so it made me a little nervous. I came really close to killing my Blippy account. And I think I may still.
Did it make you nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah, it puts things into question when information like that is released, definitely.
Yeah, that's a pretty big leak.
Yeah, I called PUD on Friday because I wanted comment from them if we were going to run it on Saturday morning. And by the time he returned my call, the information had come out that it wasn't all users' credit cards released.
It was a pretty
just 4 or
minor.
5.
It was
right. He was doing a lot of damage control, and at that point when I said, okay, if it's only 4 or 5 people, then we're not going to do the story. And I could hear this feeling of visible exhale of just this incredible relief. And he said, my day, which already sucks, just got less worse.
Well, it could be a death blow. I mean, this is a startup, and that could be the death blow. The truth is, while I thought it was a really good idea, no, everybody has the same reaction you all did, which is, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's dead anyway, but.
It's going to be something like
really
that creates a huge privacy backlash from the general public.
Right. And Shira Lazar, Natalie Del Conte, and who was that, Becky? Man, I am the luckiest guy in the world. I have a great job. So we're going to take a little break, come back in just a bit. The Proud Papa, I don't know if you noticed, but Natalie was a little bit pregnant in that. Our next segment, she will have already had the baby, and the Proud Papa will appear. But before we get to that, I would like to mention our good friends at Ford, who have been such a great supporter all year long for all of our shows. You know, Ford has such great vehicles. We've talked a lot about the Edge. We'll be talking in a moment about the new Focus, which Ford's very excited about. But don't forget the Ford Fiesta. The brand new 2011 Fiesta is such a beautiful car with elegant lines, state-of-the-art technology, a great engine, and, of course, the Ford Sync as well. If you haven't test-driven a Ford Fiesta, I think you should take a look. Amazing mileage. I think it's the best mileage in the class. 40 miles per gallon highway, according to the EPA. 40 miles per gallon. And a peppy, fun engine. I test drove one the other day, and I really enjoyed it. I invite you to visit your Ford dealer. Test drive the brand new 2011 Fiesta. Take a look at the Ford Sync built in. I think you're going to like that, too. And now here's the deal with the Ford Focus. You could test drive that. The new 2012 Ford Focus comes out early next year. And they're doing something kind of special to give some of our viewers and listeners a special early chance to test drive the Ford Focus in Madrid, Spain. Here's what you do. Go to twitfordfocus.com. That's a Facebook page. And you'll see all the instructions there. Lucky winners will get to go to Madrid, to the National Institute of Standards there in Madrid. I think I'm going to. Test drive the brand new 2012 Ford Focus, and you'll get $10,000 donated to the charity of your choice. Isn't that great? Ford's donating a total of $500,000 in all. So if you want to get in on this, before December 31st, 2010, and I hope you watch this before the end of the year. If you didn't, you've missed out. But before the end of the year, go to twitfordfocus.com, read the instructions, make your 2-minute video explaining why you should be going to Madrid with me, and should get that $10,000 for the charity of your choice and why you like that charity. 2 minutes total, twitfordfocus.com. Isn't that great? That sounds like a great contest, a great prize. Anyway, thank you, Ford, for your support. We really appreciate it. Make sure you check out the Ford Fiesta at a Ford dealer near you. Now, let us head back in time to this fall. Clayton Morris lives in New York but was born in Philadelphia, is a natural-born, bleeding red Philadelphia Phillies fan. And he had a little bet with me, because I'm a Giants fan, for the National League Championship Series. Well, in case you don't know, well, you'll find out who won that bet in this next clip. It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech, the show that covers your latest technology news with deep analysis from great minds like these. What the hell? Clayton Morris is here. What? He's wearing a Phillies outfit from Fox and Friends. Hey, Clayton.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for having me on the show.
I believe, and we should get this out of the way before the others join us, because I think they're nerds. and they're not into the great manly sport of baseball. But we had a wager, I believe, Mr. Morris.
Yeah, last week, I think, what was it, during game one?
Yeah.
You tweeted that Cody Ross was...
my boyfriend.
You were your new boyfriend.
Yeah,
you were in love with Cody Ross.
Actually, we're engaged now. Yeah.
I'm glad I sent you guys an engagement present. I said he's the most hated man in my house right now. Because, of course, I'm from Philadelphia, so this just absolutely chapped my behind. And then you and I had a friendly wager that if the Phillies were to win, you would end up wearing a full Phillies regalia on TWiT. And if I was to win, or if, vice versa, if you were to win, then I'd wear a full Giants outfit.
Let me just check here. I gotta look at I believe I may be wrong, but I think the Giants won.
Yeah, so I can't believe this is. I had root canal one time, and this is actually going to pain me.
We sent Clayton an outfit, but you know what? We forgot one thing, Clayton.
What?
The black beard. You don't have a black beard anywhere, do you?
If you give me 3 days, can we continue the show for 3 days? I can do that. I can put a little
Just grow it. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do this. I had to take my headset
so
off.
humiliating.
I'm not taking off the
Poor
shirt.
guy. Oh my God. Is this what we sent him, or? Yeah. Okay. We didn't make Clayton buy a Giants. It could have been worse. We could have made him buy
anything but a Phillies uniform. In fact, I only wear Phillies underwear every day on a regular basis. And here's this Phillies hat, or this San Francisco Giants.
Oh yeah,
hat.
we sent you a patriotic one.
Big. So I'm wearing it kind of like 50 Cent.
You kind of very gangsta, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just keep the bill flat, and I'm going to keep the sticker on there.
I think this looks nice, actually. This is a big improvement over the red.
Great, Clayton. Just fantastic.
Oh, the humiliation. Oh, my God. If you're listening to audio, you got to check in for the video. You know what? Let's do this. Let's put this on the front page of TWiT. Maybe you have I don't know, Clayton Morris, hands-on. His first Giants exposure.
Oh, this is the first time I've ever. When I played Little League, playing T-ball, I was on the Phillies. When I played Little League, I was on a Phillies. Phillies version of whatever it was. Baseball, I was on a Phillies, and I've been to dozens
amazing.
and dozens of Phillies games. I've never once worn a Giants outfit.
I like soft pretzels. Does that count?
I'll send you some soft pretzels and a cheesesteak.
That's good.
I was actually going to send you the best cheesesteak in all of Philadelphia. People don't know there unless they're from there.
Yeah.
Is John's Roast Pork in South Philadelphia. They're only open till 3 in the afternoon, and there's a line out the door. And it is no. Pat's is terrible.
Gino's.
All right, wait. Before you guys get to bed, I better bring in Joshua Topolsky. He is with Engadget. He's obviously been to Philadelphia once or twice. But right now he's in Brooklyn.
Fortunately, yes.
And not a baseball fan. And also joining us, as long as we're going through the list here, we should also say hello to Callie Lewis, who is also here, and she's visiting Atlanta. So really, in some ways, you're also part of this rivalry, since the Giants beat Atlanta to get to the Phillies game.
I claim nothing.
But you are a Texas Rangers fan.
Sure.
Good.
I enjoy going to Rangers Rangers.
It's called
games.
baseball. That's home runs, batters. Yeah.
Is that what we've been talking about? For the first
You guys are
this
such
is baseball.
nerds. So, in fact, maybe Callie and I could have a little wager for the World Series. That might be kind of fun. What would you be willing to do, Callie, if the Giants beat the Rangers in the World Series?
Oh, I'm so not good with bets.
All right. Well, I'll let Clayton come up with one, since this has worked so well for him.
Right.
No, you don't want me on your side.
You look so good in that Giants shirt.
Because you're gonna end up looking like this if I get involved.
50 Cent. So,
I think it might actually fall down even further on my head than it does yours.
It's pretty big.
That's pretty bad.
I don't know why we assumed you had such a large noggin there.
It's like Andy Capp's hot fries.
Hey, how are you? Go ahead.
Thank you for going down that horrible road.
NPR is going to fire me as a commentator now. My career is shot.
No, the only way they do that is if you put on one of your communist hats.
Well, I would never do that. Where is that hat?
Here we go.
Now, this is going to get me a job on Fox as a commentator, isn't it? I think it is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Clayton, this is how you got your job, right?
Right. I was in a full outfit. I just had one of the Dear Leader outfits that you can pick up down at the Halloween Emporium.
Is this the opposite of how you'd get hired at Fox? Don't you need to put on like a T hat or a...
There is no T hat. What are you talking about?
A teapot hat or something.
T hat.
What are you partiers?
They don't wear hats. That's Ponzi.
They're bald.
All right, moving along. That is kind of neat. This he's showing a USB key, and this is where they put the software, the operating system, and so forth.
It's the recovery, yeah. I mean, look, let's be honest. The day of the optical drive is really coming to an end. I mean, I do believe that. I think that pretty soon most people are gonna have fast enough connections to be able to get software online and not be installing stuff on disk. So I think that's a smart move. The thing about the Air is they are very expensive, given how powerful they are. I mean, the little one for $1,000, it's a good price for an app. You think, oh, that's a pretty cheap Apple computer.
It also feels like it fits into the product, like the product line. You kind of got the iPhone, then you got the iPad. Then it seems like a logical next step to go to the Air, and then the 13-inch. It just feels like that's a kind of almost a linear.
Yeah, but what about, don't forget the sex appeal of it. I mean, I'm telling you what, every woman in the office that I pulled it out and showed it to said that's hot.
Dear.
They said that's hot.
They said they liked your 11-inch.
It is a really sexy device. I mean, you know, it's sort of horrible to describe products as sexy, but it is kind of like sex.
It is kind of, well, sexy. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well,
the Vivian Tam edition sold months. Didn't the Vivian Tam edition for HP do bonker sales?
That wasn't sexy though.
Yeah,
that was
kind of sexy. Pretty well. I have one of those. I mean, it's pretty and nice and everything, but 6 months, maybe a year down the road, it doesn't work anymore.
Right. The Vivian Tam was the nice girl. No, the good girl, and the MacBook Air is the nice girl. Or is it the other? I never can remember.
I think it's Vivian Tam was the slightly less expensive girl, and Apple is the pricey
Callie,
girl.
I just want to apologize. How many people have I offended now so far? I think the Koreans, the Jews, the girls,
women,
Phillies
fans. Is there anybody left?
Tea Party members.
Tea Party members.
I think I offended Tea Party.
Well, now, Clayton, you can't have a Phillies hat and take off the Giants. Go ahead, take it off. Take off the Giants T-shirt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just put this on because I didn't want people to see me.
The invisible Philly.
Yeah.
No, you're a good sport, Clayton, and you know. You went down and got the Air. You stole that from Natalie. That was nice of you.
Yeah.
Or is it Miles'
No,
computer?
that was nice of Natalie to allow him.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
No, it's mine.
They're adorable.
Anyway, sorry.
No, show us more. I want to see more. This is nice. So
this is great. And one of the nice things we did, we showed this on my show on Friday. We got a little stopwatch out.
Yeah.
And let's just do a straight
boot time.
Yeah, let's.
You know, I put a Corsair SSD into my 15-inch MacBook from a year ago, and it does make a huge difference in boot time.
Yeah, I was going to say about this. People are making a big deal about the boot time, but if you put an SSD in any MacBook,
sure,
modern MacBook, it will boot very, very quickly. Mine
even in the new iMacs, those new iMacs with the SSD where Snow Leopard boots off the SSD are fantastic.
Joshua, do you know whose drive Apple is using in here?
Well, this actually isn't a drive. They are hardwiring.
Oh yeah, surface mounted. Yeah.
To the logic board.
So whose controller? I guess is what I should ask.
I don't know. iFixit had a teardown. They certainly have that information.
Yeah.
I should, of course, know it.
Our solid state guy, Alan Malventano, I think said it's using a SandForce controller, which is as good as you can get.
So get your stopwatches out. We did 14 seconds on this.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, ready,
set,
and go.
Boom. Oh, there's blue. It's blue. There's the Apple. Now, of course, it only has 2 gigs of RAM, so it's not doing a very big, long power on self-test. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 seconds to desktop.
This is. I just want to say that this is fast, but pretty common for SSDs on Mac.
All right, so let's play a game. Let's all go to our Netflix queue and see who has the movie that's been out the longest.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to win this. I'm going to lose it because I just finally gave up and sent a bunch of movies in.
I'm checking it out right now.
My oldest movie is September 23rd, Where the Wild Things Are. That's not so bad. That's not even a month yet.
What kind of movies?
Wait, is there a place that you look at that?
Yeah, you look at your queue.
I love how your choice is all NC-17 movies lately.
Okay.
Stop it!
What's your date? What's your date?
My oldest is 9/23. That's not so bad.
All right, Clay, what do you have?
Shipped on City of God is still sitting at home. Shipped on 10/05.
Oh, that's nothing. That's 2 weeks.
Oh, I got you guys.
We're talking about when it was shipped.
The oldest. No, your oldest DVD that you still have on the shelf. How long have you had it for?
Callie, what do you have?
9:18 is when I last watched.
Oh, you guys we're all pretty good.
I got 3:23.
March. I'm telling you, I was waiting. I wanted Twin Peaks. I got the first season because we'd never seen it. I started watching it, and I wanted to get the second, whatever the second season on delay. It's
Twin
like,
Peaks.
You're the one.
Season 2, disc 1 of Twin Peaks.
You're the one. I swear to God, there's only one disc
There's
out
no
there.
Are you serious?
You know why?
I'll send it to you.
There's no. Yeah, just send it to him. Just eliminate the middleman. There's no compelling reason to watch season 2. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
No. I'm sure it's going to be great. Okay.
I don't even know what
seen
Twin
it
Peaks
since
is.
1993. So
you don't know what Twin Peaks is?
Classic.
Whoa,
pretty bad
what?
with that.
Did Callie just say she doesn't know?
You know
Twin
why?
Peaks?
She's 22 years old. She doesn't know any of this.
I'm older than 22.
All right, 25. She has no idea what happened before 1990.
Are you serious?
I have no idea. Actually, I grew up with a really strict family. My stepfather was really, really strict. So I didn't even have a TV in my house for my growing up years. So
and he would never
I have
let
an
you watch Twin
excuse.
Peaks.
Can I make a recommendation?
Especially with the
Callie?
log lady intros. You would not want to.
I'd like to recommend that you go on your Netflix and you put.
She
Twin
can't.
Peaks
You still
into-
have it, you dick.
Yeah.
Season 1. Season 1.
Watch it and send it back.
You gotta get season 1 on there, but you gotta go do it now because you're missing out on great.
Dead. Wrapped in
I am
plastic.
doing it right this second.
I like it's actually happening in this moment. That's
This
great.
must be where pies go when they die. Isn't that Kyle in that too?
Yeah, Kyle MacLachlan's in that.
Oh,
Kyle
he's
MacLachlan's in
fantastic.
a lot of great creepy movies or shows.
My mind is blowing. This is the Kyle MacLachlan version.
But it speaks to the way we're watching this stuff. You can jump into your next well, that's why I come back to the sort of the a la carte thing. And I think the way that people sample things, right? And you go through your Netflix queue, you're like, I feel like I'm going to watch Cake Boss tonight or Saw 2. Or if you're Leo, Wild Things 2, straight to DVD.
Not Wild Things. Wait a minute. Now I understand what you're saying. Not Denise Richard Wild Things. Where the Wild Things Are, the Maurice Sendak children's movie, you pervert.
Sure, Leo. You got the Dutch sandwich. You got Wild Things. We get it.
Although, come to think of it, Wild Things was a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't. No.
The pool scene?
The pool
was
scene.
Wild Things written by Joe Esterhaus, who's the guy who did Showgirls? Did he also write Wild Things?
Probably.
I think he did. I think you're right.
Did he?
All right.
That would be amazing.
Let's fast forward to the year 2010, where Aaron Sorkin writes a movie kind of loosely based on Facebook. Finally, a man named Mark Zuckerberg, who actually lived that, sees the movie. He's asked at the Y Combinator Startup Conference what he thought of the Facebook movie.
One of the biggest ones. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting what stuff they focused on getting right. Like every single shirt and fleece that I had in that movie is actually a shirt or fleece that I own. So there's all this stuff that they got wrong and a bunch of random details that they got right. The thing that I think is actually most thematically interesting that they got wrong is the whole framing of the movie, kind of the way that it starts is, I'm with this girl who doesn't exist in real life, who dumps me, which has happened in real life a lot. And basically they frame it as if the whole reason for making Facebook and building something was because I wanted to get girls or wanted to get into some kind of social institution. And I mean, the reality for people who know me is I've actually been dating the same girl since before I started Facebook, so obviously that's not a part of it. But I think it's such a big disconnect from, I think, the way that people who make movies think about what we do in Silicon Valley, building stuff. Right? Like, they just can't wrap their head around the idea that someone might build something because they like building things.
I love that. I think that's a really great way to end the show.
That's the most eloquent I've ever seen him be. And I have to say, his point is really accurate. I think that the perception of, I mean, you can, look, if you've seen Aaron Sorkin talk about these characters, you can tell that he has a tremendous disdain for people who do the kinds of things that Zuckerberg did and the people around him do. And I do think there's a real disconnect there. He's right about what the perception from the inside versus the outside. And, you know, he thinks, like, of course he's motivated by his hatred for women. That's why he started Facebook.
Obviously.
And that's a very childish way to think about why somebody would start something or work on something like Facebook.
You guys are great. This was a lot of fun. I'm going to end on a sad note. The Sony cassette Walkman is finally dying.
Tears for all.
I remember buying mine. When did it come out, Joshua? It's like 85, I think. I remember buying it at
79.
79?
I think it was before that.
I remember when it came out.
79 or 81?
79. Wasn't it 79?
I went to Macy's, and it was like $400. It was really expensive. I remember buying that blue one with a button that you'd press that I thought would, you know, be like you could talk into it. No, it just muted it. So we'll end with a Sony ad. This is straight from Engadget.com to say farewell to the Sony Walkman. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Eats Meets West is coming up next. Another twit is in the can. And now,
Thanks,
ladies and
Leah.
gentlemen, the monkeys in the mist.
When I hear the wind, it brings me whispers from far. My hoping eyes, dreaming heart.
どこまで行ったら未来だろう。また一歩進化を続けるウォークマン。
This hell is almost over. Oh, hi, everybody. I hope you actually, it is over. I hope you've enjoyed our best of. I want to thank everybody who went to twit.tv and voted for your favorite segments. I hope yours made it in there, and look forward to a whole year of miscues, dirty subjects, and crazy stuff happening in Twit in years to come. You know, we do Twit every Sunday. You're always welcome to watch it live. That's when you get the full brunt of the onslaught. We do it live Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time at live.twit.tv. And, of course, after the fact, you can download it and listen or watch at your convenience. Now, I mentioned earlier in the show that we are going to be moving to a new studio. This is something I've always wanted to do is have a little time here out in the fireplace. We're out in the main offices of the Twit Cottage. And as much as we love the Twit Cottage, with the addition of Tom Merritt and Sarah Lane and Becky Worley, we've just started to run out of room, frankly. So we found a great place down the street. Now, the cottage is what, about 1,500 square feet, Lisa? 2,000 square feet? So the new place, we thought, well, we should get a little more room. 10,000 square feet plus a 10,000 square foot basement. So we're moving to a place that is essentially 1,000 times bigger. I think my math is correct. It's big. No, I know. Our Vice President of Engineering says, no, as a matter of fact, I think your math is incorrect, Mr. Laporte. It would be 10 times bigger, that's all. So we are very excited about that. We will be in the Twit Cottage for a few more months, but sometime in late spring, early summer, we will move to a new facility. We hope to kind of recreate some of the feeling of the Twit Cottage. We know that that's part of the appeal of this. And certainly we're not going to be any less inept, down home, or folksy. We can promise you that. Thanks very much. Have a great holiday season, and all the best for 2011. We'll hope to see you right back here next year on This Week in Tech. For all of us at the Twit Cottage, good night and